good innovations and eliminating waste and fraud and all those things. But that, I think, ultimately should be the goal. We should be bending the cost curve by investments in new technologies and new health remedies and new cures for disease, and making people have healthier outcomes at less cost.
Thank you.
Directly to your question, one fairly misunderstood part of Obamacare is that it's not universal. It does improve the system. There will be 35 million more people who have health care, but it doesn't actually hurt employers. It doesn't apply to every employer. It also doesn't apply to every stratum of income level in this country. The fact is that there are going to be gaps in Obamacare, and the point is that Planned Parenthood will serve a very vital function, because for the gaps in Obamacare, Planned Parenthood will be able to pick up the slack.
I appreciate the wellness and prevention, but not an overlap in government spending.
I think we have time for one more question before closing statements. Yes.
Thank you. Congressman Cicilline, in regards to education and to veterans, could you please tell me where you stand when it comes to the reserve and the Veterans Educational Assistance Programs?
I think we have a responsibility to ensure that our veterans have all of the things that they have, all the things that they need. I had, as I said, the opportunity to be in Afghanistan for a very short period of time, and seeing in that one, few days, the conditions in which these brave men and women were serving. I think we have a responsibility not only on educational programs, but we should be doing everything we can when our servicemen and women return to support them, whether it's educational programs, whether it's healthcare needs, housing needs, job training needs. We can never fully repay our veterans for what they've done, and I think we have a responsibility to do everything we can to assist them in every way that they need when they return, period.
Would the other candidates like to address veterans?
Yes, that's a great question, because we need to support our veterans. We have the strongest military in the world, the best and the brightest, and we need to support our veterans coming home through education and through veterans benefits and health. And we have a lot of work to do in that area. We have a lot of troops coming home that need our support, and they've made a great sacrifice to the United States of America, and we have to make a great sacrifice for them.
The only thing that I advocated cutting out of the military budget was the ability to buy more bombers and things like that. They don't need it. And what's ironic, again, I have to go back to Simpson-Bowles. Colonel Doherty supports Simpson-Bowles, and yet one of the provisions in Simpson-Bowles is in fact cutting the pensions of our veterans, something I would never ever support.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I just need to speak to that. Yeah. I don't support cutting the veterans' benefits or pensions.
Thank you. And we've come to the time for closing statements. Again, 2 minutes, and we'll do them in the reverse order of the opening statements, which I believe we begin with Colonel.
Well, thank you very much again for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity. This is an incredibly important time in our nation's history. During the next few weeks, you have an opportunity to examine different candidates with different values and principles and different vision to bring America forward. One that is conservative and respects people of all walks of life. One who is ultra-liberal, who has no use for centrist ideas, and then David Vogel. One who is fiscally conservative and pro-business, and one who believes we should just keep taxing business and to get out of this economic rut. But one who spent his entire life protecting men, women, and children of Rhode Island. One who is a career politician who is engaged in years of deal-making. Folks, the narrative is clear, and the decision is yours. Congressman Cicilline is for high taxes and redistribution of wealth, and I'm for private sector growth and free market forces. I want to help build a robust middle class via jobs. I'm talking about, again, what President Reagan talked about when he spoke of that forgotten American. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you again for hosting this. It's great to be here. I'm here to ask for your vote. I've spent the last 2 years as a new member of Congress fighting for the middle class of Rhode Island, fighting for the things that I know are important to getting Rhode Islanders back to work, getting our economy back on track. The middle class has been hollowed out in this recession by Wall Street, has speculation that has run wild, by big banks that had too much power, by a devastating housing crisis. And work has been done to reform all of that, and to put in place financial regulatory reform, a consumer protection bureau. All of that is in jeopardy because the House Republicans are committed to repealing all of that. And so what I'm asking for your vote so I can go to Washington and keep fighting for the middle class. Fight for passage of the Buffett rule so millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share. Fight to protect historic healthcare reform. Fight to protect for the development of an energy policy that both produces renewable and clean energy but also respects our environmental stewardship. Protecting women and standing up for women and protecting full reproductive health care for women and protecting investments in education from Head Start to Pell Grants, which are under attack by this Republican House leadership. I'm fighting for an America where everyone has a fair shot at the American dream, where everyone plays by the same set of rules and everyone does their fair share and everyone has a chance to succeed. And we can do that by investing in education, infrastructure, small business, innovation, having tax policies that are fair, and being sure that we deal with our debt in a responsible way, cutting spending and generating revenues, ending tax loopholes, ending subsidies to big oil, speaking up for the middle class of Rhode Island. If you send me back to Washington, I'll continue to do that for you and your families every single day. Thank you.
Mr. Boyle, please wait till the end. Mr. Boyle.
It's all right. I'm not offended. Clearly, there are choices. And what you have to look at now is you have to say to yourselves, okay, the last 3 decades, 4 decades, whatever you want to look at it, where have you gotten? And the funny thing is that I am not of the opinion, I don't like the question, are you better off 4 years, are you better off today than you were 4 years from now? Personally, I think that's a dumb question. Because what you really need to say to yourselves is, given the current trajectory, will you be better off 4 years from now, or 8 years from now, or 10 years from now than you are today? If you cannot answer that question in the affirmative, then you need to do something different about it. In other words, you need to take a step outside your comfort zone, and you need to take a new direction. As Tom correctly pointed out, our moderator, there are 0 independents in Washington, in the House of Representatives. There are exactly 2 in the Senate, which means that of the 535 members of Congress, there are 534 of them, because I really don't consider Senator Lieberman an independent. There are really 534 of them who are working for party bosses, taking their marching orders from K Street, totally out of touch with you and absolutely not doing what you need for them to do. And this is a slow, frustrating, god-awful process that I'm proposing. But I can guarantee you this. If you guys keep electing Democrats and Republicans in the same way you've always done it, you will get nowhere.
I'd like to make a quick announcement that we're going to take a 5-minute break. There's some treats in the back, and then we're going to come back with the candidates for the 4th Rhode Island General Assembly. But for now, please thank our candidates for coming out and